All right, Healthy Debate, episode 2, I guess, of the lunch edition. Invite my pals, Glenny Jack Mac, big game edition. We gotta make sure we say big game
week.
edition.
Thank you for the sandwiches.
Yeah, it was.
These are great.
Good.
Nice, yeah. So, all right, let's start with the negative of the Super Bowl, technically, or a big game. A hot take. Are most people's houses big enough to have a party?
No. I grew up in not the biggest house in the world, but we always have the party.
Everybody's standing around, right?
There's a few extra. Sometimes we'll bring in a folding chair. Sometimes the women will watch in the dining room on a smaller TV. But yeah, it would be nice to have a bigger house. I think maybe the bigger house should be the one hosting the party. But we've always been a small house. We've always had fun and cooked good food. So it goes both ways.
The kids in the parties I always went to were in the basement. And then the adults would watch upstairs.
I would do basement growing up. Yeah.
And then
I didn't watch a snap as a kid. The first Super Bowl I remember being old enough to know was 49ers Chargers.
yeah, what's the one that you remember first?
Super Bowls are like a very quick. You know, when you're growing up, you just have like one quick thing in your brain from it.
Yeah.
We would always have big Super Bowl parties. Like my uncle would always get my dad and uncle would always get decorations, have the plates, the napkins. Remember we get like the balloons of the team. The first balloon I remember was the Patriots-Panthers Super Bowl. That's the first balloon I remember. And then obviously I remember
That was the first Super Bowl I had friends.
Janet Jackson.
That was the first Super Bowl I had friends who could drive to the party.
That's the first one I remember. I remember the John Gruden Raiders Bucks Super Bowl very vividly. I remember I was, as a kid, very scared of the Raiders because like the older kids at the party would say, nah, they're like the Raiders are like a very mean team and like, you know, the black and silver. But those are the games I remember vividly. I remember walking in to my house. We left early before the kick because my dad didn't want to see the Patriots win the Super Bowl. And we listened to it on the radio, Vinatieri's kick, and he said, oh, they won. I grew up in Connecticut, so that was a big deal in Connecticut. New England, which turned out to be hell for me because obviously as a Jets fan, kind of stinks when you grow up in the era of the dominant Patriots and you're just the guy at school.
I think most people, though, in that first game were like, oh, pretty cool for the Patriots. Underdog story.
100%.
Like Brady. It's quick how they, like, very quickly.
I was 5. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I do.
The first Patriots, I really remember the Super Bowl. Like I said, I remember that Patriots-Panthers. I just remember that balloon. The first time I remember really watching the Patriots in the Super Bowl was the Giants Super Bowl. Undefeated, 18-1, big game 42. That was always fun merch to get. 18-1 merch.
Would you guys always go that Sunday to the same place every year? Or did you mix it up? We were always going to mix it up. Sometimes we had no plans, last-minute plans.
Molinero's always had it, and then they stopped having it for the Giants-Patriots first one. And then after that, it ended up being just kind of all over the place. The Molineros were known for the Super Bowl party.
Yeah. It was always my house. My house was always the host house. My uncle's very good on the barbecue, so me and my dad would he would hang out, have a few drinks. My uncle in the back, cooking up, barbecue and everything, pulled pork, maybe some Cubans, et cetera, et cetera.
The thing I don't like, though, is the minute the final whistle sounds, it's like, all right, let's go, run out of here. It is a school night, technically, a work night, whatever, and it ends at, like, what, 10:30?
It's an early game. It's a 6:30 game.
10 by the time, 10:15 by the time everything, whatever. You think people should come earlier and show up at 3 o'clock or stay a little bit later? It's one of those, like,
My parents.
I would just hated that. As soon as it ends, or if you're at friend's house, they're already cleaning up, you're like,
I'm big on the early. I want the earliest possible for the pageantry. For the pageantry, I want the earliest possible. You know, there's maybe some hockey games on. There's maybe lucky for a Ranger game on. There's college basketball on usually. I think it's fun to show up 2, 3 o'clock, maybe crack a few cold ones, enjoy, then get your buzz going for 6:30 for kickoff for the big game. It's imperative to get there early.
who's the best person at the party and the worst person at the party? I wrote some down, run through them.
I mean, I think the worst person immediately is the box guy. Holding their sheets, telling everybody what their boxes are. Oh, if the score stays the same with 7 minutes left in the second quarter, I'll win the halftime. The score's not going to stay the same with 7 minutes left in the second quarter.
The box guys, I hate boxes. I understand it. I understand the allure of it, especially for people who grew up we grew up in the illegal online gambling era. Me and Gunny, you guys grew up before that was even, you had to go to the guy down the corner to place bets. I understand the boxes. That was like the one thrill. But boxes now, people will hit me up to join and I always join the groups. I join the pools. Boxes, I say no to because I don't even like them.
I enjoy them.
I like them, but it's the people who start the day of the game, and it's like you think there's 30 people here. You think you're gonna fill like 100? That's the worst. But
I enjoy my biggest complaint though is people that will, if there's literally 10 minutes left in the second quarter, they'll say, no, if the score stays like this, I got it. If 2-minute warning is when I want to hear about the boxes. Which is fair. I like to hear about the boxes.
I wrote down the root for obscure shit guy too.
Now,
so I need 2 safeties. I need that. So did you know you could gamble on this guy? It's like, yeah, man, people have been gambling on this thing for 100 years.
And I guess, I know gambling's fun. It's fun for everybody. Everybody should be able to win. It is a little annoying when you've been gambling and everything.
Yeah.
And then your fucking cousin's wife comes in and wins the box final score. That's a disappointing person.
And now we have the parlay guys. Instead of the box guy, it's like, I need one more leg. And that leg is like anytime touchdown score for Kadarius Toney.
At exactly 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
And Kadarius Toney's not even active. It's like, hey, buddy, you're not going to win. He's like, it was this close. Well, guess what? Everybody that's ever placed an 8-leg parlay has been 1 leg away. And then they end up, that's how they get you. So I think the box guy is now the 8-leg parlay guy. I don't want to hear about your parlay unless it has a true chance of hitting in the fourth quarter.
Well, I'd like to hear about this out of kids. Speaking of the worst person, not gambling wise, what would you guys say your take is on seat and getting up?
That's what I wrote down. The best guy,
because I don't want to be the guy that takes someone's seat.
Is
that's the worst guy.
I'll stand guy.
Yeah,
the guys who cause no problems. You don't have to worry about them sniping a seat. Best guys.
Get him a cold one in a folding chair. They're good to go.
I think the seat you're in at kickoff, or even for national anthem and whatnot, that's your seat for the rest of the day. You're locked in. There's no, unless you say, oh, you can take it, I'm going to go watch it. If maybe there's a few rooms, or maybe you go downstairs or whatnot. But the seat you're in at kickoff, unless you explicitly say I'm leaving or you can take another one, that's your seat. It should be locked in. That's just etiquette. And if you fuck that up, like that's the worst person at the party who thinks they can take the seat because, you went and talk with your friend over there for 5 to 10 minutes. You can sit there when I'm gone, but when I'm back, that's mine.
I don't know if it's legal. Do you think movie theaters should rent out
I wouldn't like it.
Spots for parties?
It's not, I don't want to do
It's not an intimate setting.
But, it's just not enough seats.
I will say, I have a very rich best friend. Well, I know a lot of rich people.
Okay.
And they have in their basement like a 3-and-3, 2 rows of those big movie theater couches. We watched one Super Bowl there. Not the same in lore. It's not the same in lore.
That makes sense.
You want a couch like this behind us. People sitting, and I understand, maybe you get seated next to like Bill that you fucking hate. It stinks, but you want the intimate setting. This is an event.
Yeah.
This is like the thing
Most
about
parties are like what, 30, 40 people there?
And it could be annoying, but I want the people that don't really watch. I want the random guys coming over that don't know much.
Oh, see, I wrote that down as the worst guy is the I don't watch sports guy.
I think it's fun to talk to them though.
Yeah, you gotta embrace them.
You got to embrace the non-sports guys coming in for the day. You got to have fun with them. You got to bust their balls.
One, though.
Maybe play along with them.
Yeah.
This game coming up is a special one, though, because of the Taylor Swift aspect. Because it seems as if this isn't sports anymore. This is like culture. Like everyone knows about it. So maybe this isn't. I know we're talking over the years and whatnot, but this is a one of one
Cultural.
You know.
I agree with that.
I do hate the person who says, I'm only here for the commercials, or I'm only here for the halftime show. Like, all right, we get it. You don't like football. This is our day.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, I don't go to your yard sales and disrupt you. Like, let me watch my shit. I wrote down,
I don't go to the Bachelor.
The worst people, did you know you can gamble? I don't watch sports guy, roots for obscure stuff guy, and political guy.
Oh, we can't do politics at the Super Bowl.
No,
party.
the best ones, the I'll stand guy, doesn't mind. Do you need a drink guy? You never even have to get up.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Underrated. Guy who brings the good food.
Of course.
Like you come back with the plate, you're like, who brought the fucking stuffed bacon, whatever? You're like, oh yeah, Joey's wife. Home run. The silent guy. Sometimes if just don't speak.
Going back to the food, would there be like a specific food that came from a specific family that you remember from your parties for the big game. I do.
I mean, not so many years later, but yeah, there's definitely that one thing that you like.
Yeah. Molinero's had this.
Even if it's from like even a fast food chain, they went out and got it. You know what I mean? Like
Molinero's who hosted the party, and then they would always come after when they stopped hosting. Dean Molinero, he was the guy that family that we went to all the UConn sporting events with, season tickets, whatnot. He would bring pepperoni bread. And the pepperoni bread that he made was just, and I'm sure if you compared it to other pepperoni bread that's made by amazing people, it's not as good, but that is like, I can taste it right now because it's like a childhood memory.
That hypes me up, just thinking about getting hyped over nostalgic food.
Yeah. And I'm sure everyone has that.
Yeah, and it's for me, it's like more of it's like an hour by hour breakdown. Like 3 o'clock, my aunts will come over, they'll start prepping a little bit. Maybe we'll do a little antipasto, which is lovely. But honestly, the thing that always fucks me for the big game day, if we put out that French onion dip, just easy French onion dip, and I take one chip in there, down for the count. French onion dip is not a chip you could have 5 of. You gotta have 50 of them. French onion dip might as well be crack.
What's your take on this year? Doesn't it seem like everybody's in on the Chiefs?
I straight up don't have a take this year. Everyone's asking like who you like in my group chats. I've been saying, frankly, fellas, I literally don't know. Like, obviously everyone has games they like, they don't like. My dad's been asking me every day. I'm like, dude, I don't know. I straight up do not know. I have no idea. Honestly, the only thing I really like is the under. I'm going to bet the over just because I want to bet the over on a Super Bowl Sunday. But I think the only thing I really like,
I've heard
it's big game
you.
Sunday.
There's people here who say you only bet the over.
No, but I'm not going to fucking bet the under like a schmuck. Like, it's going to be a fun day, so whatever. I mean, it's big game Sunday. I'm going to take the over probably. I really don't have an opinion. I think the Niners are a super team, low-key, if they're playing at the top of their possibilities. But the Chiefs, obviously, you have Mahomes. I have no idea which one I want to pick, so I'm simply just going to take the over. And for the record, I want this on camera. It's going to go under. Yeah. They have underratedly great defenses, and both teams are going to try to do like 8-minute drives. It's going to go so under.
The other thing, too, is the Chiefs have been doing well in the red zone. They were horrible for a long period. They were always the 3 team, the 3. Settle for 3, settle for 3.
So under.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows who Harrison Butker is because they would always settle for 3. I'm in on the Chiefs. I mean, I don't have a huge take on it, kind of like Glenny, but I'm going to be on the Chiefs for sure. I just think Mahomes and whatnot. I haven't been a big fan of Purdy. I think Purdy's good, don't get me wrong, but I also wanted to ask you guys, did you ever have a special thing that came out of the Super Bowl? When I got into college, one of my buddies in college would know his father's friend who got the first song before, and this was before, and I mean, obviously, this was on illegal books and whatnot. First song, I had it year after year after year. I remember in college, I told the entire floor, this is gonna be it. Like, you have to do it. And I was on like a male, female, I got laid off the first Super Bowl. The girl was so impressed. Like, that's what she was like, how did you know that? I was like, don't worry. Don't worry. You know what it was? It was Peyton Manning, Cam Newton, Viva La Vida, first song, 8-1.
I think that's when I remember hearing about that leak. That was a memorable Super Bowl
but
for me.
I had that leak before, and then I also had, I had one when I was
the shoes. I heard
2019.
People know about colors of shoes and costume changes and stuff.
But I've gotten duped by those. Rest in peace to our guy Blaze. I mean, he's not dead, but he doesn't work here anymore. He swore he knew
I remember.
the Gatorade color because he got it confirmed by Chiefs and 49ers, but ironically enough. And this was right after Kobe passed away, RIP, and he said, it's gonna be purple. It's gonna be purple. I remember I had a disgusting amount of money. It was not purple. It was not purple.
The Chiefs, the Broncos.
Panthers.
That was the NYC Super Bowl.
No. Broncos, Seahawks.
Yeah.
Broncos,
that was
Panthers
2015.
was memorable for me. That was the day I asked for permission to get married.
Ooh.
There we go.
Super Bowl.
Hey, did you guys
big game Sunday
Did you guys
morning.
go to any fun events for the NYC Super Bowl?
No.
I remember I watched it with my dad.
I went to. I remember.
College was the
we had
worst, by the way. My freshman year, I watched it in my bed. Because you think about a dorm. Where are you hosting a party like that in a dorm room?
Yeah.
Sophomore year, couldn't even tell you. junior year, I was home on an internship, and senior year, like in my living room with like 6 guys, but like not, it's just the worst. Yeah. There's no, college dorm is maybe the worst spot to watch those games.
I remember we watched it in the common area freshman year. Sophomore year, I think I had a buddy who he hosted kind of a sophomore year was the 28-3 comeback. I remember I watched it with a Patriots fan who was just this. He used to play on the football team. He was a big guy, and it was very annoying. He turned out to be a bouncer. He was very annoying drunk, but he was a big guy. And watching his mental breakdown as they were losing, then they came back, it was very annoying. But I remember I bet the Patriots live, and I was like, oh, Brady maybe. And then junior year, where did we watch it? I think the same place. And then senior year, I don't even remember where I was.
College is the worst.
Yeah, I think I had one college away for the big game, and I came home for it. And then the next year where I was home.
Is that like the ultimate flex that you become the big game house?
Probably because you probably have the biggest house.
Yeah, right. Or you just have a great party. So then even if it's like, oh, we're going to Glenny's house again. It's like, yeah, he doesn't have that big a house, but man, they throw a great party, like the chicken palm and this and that.
TV's big.
Yeah. Or it's just great vibes, like they do. So I don't know. I thought that was a flex of like owning a house, hosting the party. But
I'm a guy that the thought of hosting a big game party would just destroy me. I would hate it.
A lot of pressure. I'm at the point in my life where I very much do not want to host a big game party ever. Like it's different now. Like I was saying before, like, literally my parents hang out with my cousins and their wives. Like my cousins married my mom's best friends, and they're all just a crew. So there's alternate days. Like we get Super Bowl, someone gets Easter, someone gets Christmas, blah blah blah. But to have actual friends that you got to host, I'm so out on. Like I was watching an episode of recently watching King of Queens, and Doug was like dying to get everybody to come to the big game at his house. He was begging everybody to come. I was like, why do you want this? That's so much unneeded pressure for no reason. Just go to someone else's house, find a chair, get drunk, and then go back to yours.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
And then go back to yours. Yeah. Unless you have an emporium.
But if nobody hosts, it all dies. The whole system corrupts.
There is an aspect. I'm sure there's been a big friend groups before that you always went to the Smiths, and the Smiths said we can't do it this year. And then everyone's like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And then
the whole system falls apart.
So you know what's scary about Jack Mac, I will say? Is he keeps referring to every big game party as like a married couple's name. So you're saying you're just going to, I don't know, like when you were a kid, you're going to your friend's house and it was all the parents and the kids. That scares me. It's supposed like it's not your actual friends. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, but I thought the people.
Yeah, I think life changes.
And those people that were at those parties, like, I remember thinking like the adults had it made. Now, obviously, as I grow older, I'm like, they had mortgages, they had things to pay off.
Yeah.
But I remember everyone, I think maybe they were forced friendships because you just happened to go to where you grow or where you move to and whatnot. But I always thought they had a good time. Like, it wasn't like a forced thing.
Yeah. I also thought there's a lot of people in my life, looking back, that like have no significance where I watched those games with. You just like kids you hung out with high school for a little bit. Like, oh, we're going to this kid's house. Like, it holds no significance. I'll give this last one. A lot of talk about Taylor Swift. I've now like completely flipped. Isn't the biggest pop star in the world supposed to date the good-looking guy who's a football star?
Yeah.
But her thing has always been dating these artsy guys.
Without a doubt, but like it just took her longer to get there. But this is the path that it goes.
No, you're right.
It's the Pamela Anderson married Tommy Lee. Like a supermodel marries a fucking rock star. It's rock star, athlete, musician. Like,
I think it's fucking awesome. I think it's amazing. I'm not one of these old men yelling at clouds because we're panning to Taylor Swift every fucking 3 times a quarter. Who cares? Taylor Swift, frankly, I'm not the biggest Taylor Swift fan. I wasn't the biggest Taylor Swift fan before all this, but I actually did like her. I love love. I love love. I was a little too young to remember the old Jess Romo romance.
Yeah.
I like this. I'm in on it. I think it's fun. It adds an extra part to the allure of the game. And you know what? She's not playing. Right. I just don't really care.
Exactly. Also, I will say, she's become quite the fan. Like, she cares about the game.
I would like to see a quiz, though. I would love to see.
So did you hear what she said to Mahomes? that
No.
So Mahomes thought when she was going to meet she wouldn't really know him outside of just being like, oh, that's the quarterback. But as it turns out, she said, no, I know all about you. I watched Quarterback on Netflix. So now my thing is, when she went and talked with Tony Romo, said, you do a great job. Does she watch back? Like, is she watching film? Or is she just saying, oh, that's the announcer?
I don't know. I'm interested to
I wonder how obsessed she is about it.
I think Taylor is someone. Wait, why? Because she told
grew up an
Romo
Eagles
did a good
fan,
job.
right?
Yeah, I didn't see that.
No,
it was like, was it on the field after or something?
Yeah, after the game.
So I think when you're as big as Taylor, you just tell everybody good job. Like I've noticed, like when you meet people, when you meet people that meet a bunch of people, they won't say nice to meet you. They'll say good to see you. In the soft chance they've met you before, not knowing who they meet.
I've heard about that.
Now he meets a lot of famous people.
You've never met them, like, oh, good to see you. So I feel like Taylor's like, tells everybody, like, oh, good job, good to see you.
But she had a little bit of a conversation with him.
That's what I think is happening here with Taylor.
But did you see what she said to him? She goes, like, you do a great job. And then Tony said, oh, you do too. I love your stuff. And she said, well, we kind of have different jobs. Different skill sets, she said. So she does. Now, I would wonder, does she know that Tony Romo used to play? And does she know that maybe she knows Tony Romo because of the Jessica Simpson stuff?
It's possible.
And it's like, because they get compared a little bit?
Taylor was what? If she's 33 now, she was 17 during that, probably?
You know who?
I'm a big fan of Kylie. So I wonder if, like...
Jenner?
No.
Kelsey.
Oh, I was like
every clip, all those TikToks, the clips
she's
of
awesome.
her, I think she's great.
I love all the Kelseys.
Philanthropist.
I'm a Kelsey fan.
I wonder if Travis almost like prepped her. Like, you ever seen the movie Diner when he makes her take a quiz before he gets married? I wonder if Travis was kind of like, yo, you're meeting Kylie, figure it out. Learn a little bit. Don't sound because she's gonna grill you.
If there's one thing I know about Taylor Swift, and I've learned a lot about her over the past however many months. She is incredibly intentional about everything. How she releases her albums, she'll like kind of do little have people guess. Her PR team is massive. I mean, they're suing that kid, or they send the kid with the private jet. They also, after the Celine Dion thing this past weekend, the Grammys, they thought, she slighted. And then they said, no, we have to get a photo to make sure to push this back. I would assume Taylor Swift's team taught her everything about football that needed to be taught. But I think Travis told her some stuff, but like I think they may have sat her down on the plane when she was going back and forth and said, this is everything you need to know. They may have brought in
gave her a quiz,
like
coach,
like a legit coach, like a whoever. I think that's a huge possibility.
It's real. All right, you said the under. What's the final score?
I think I could see it being like, I mean, I feel like Super Bowl crazy shit always happens, so I don't want to give it 21-17, but I think it's going to be in that realm. Maybe like 22-20.
Yeah, I think it might be a little more.
22-20.
I'm going to go this. I'll say 24-23. Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking the other day at alternate lines because I like to do alternate overs for the Super Bowl. I feel like crazy shit happens, like I said. I don't really see how there's any way they score 63 points.
No chance.
I don't see it. Like last year was a crazy game. Last year was what, 35-31?
Yeah.
I don't think that's happening this year.
We've also had, growing up, I had such a bad run of Super Bowls. We're on a great run now that almost every year going in, when it's a great matchup, I like worry. I'm like, here's the one. It's going to be a stinker. It's going to be a stinker.
I remember Broncos Seahawks being so bad and being like, this is never really.
Dude, it was my whole life growing up.
Because
horrible. You go look them up. They were bad.
Yeah, you look at
Giants.
What? You look at the 80s, it's tough.
No, I was born in the 80s. I'm saying the 90s.
The Giants-Patriots games were iconic. I mean, those are the most iconic games. And then, I mean, 49ers-Ravens was an amazing game.
Yes. And the Seahawks.
Seahawks-Patriots.
Almost
every.
Steelers-Arizona. In there. There was a big run, starting with the Rams-Titans. That whole run for me, other than Giants-Ravens, was like a really good run. There's been very few stinkers, but go backwards that way, ton of stinkers.
Broncos-Panthers wasn't very good.
No, but it was still like it
close.
Was
like there was a big play.
I'm telling you, stinkers. You couldn't even watch these games in the late '90s.
No,
early '90s. Like it was bad.
When's our last bad one?
wasn't the Broncos? Which one was wasn't Seahawks?
Seahawks Broncos.
Seahawks Broncos was like 43-8.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, that
was like 10 years ago though. We were on a run after that of like really good ones. People say the Rams.
the Rams Patriots sucked.
Still a one-score game.
That game
into
stunk.
the game.
That game
terrible
stunk.
game.
That's
but
the
it was
worst
late
game
into the
of that
game.
year.
It was still at least close.
I don't see. I think I have very hope for this year. I think this year is
I think
going
it's
to
iconic.
be.
This might be
This
the
year
best.
is going to be maybe the best to the point where, like I said, I don't even want to bet the big game. I literally just want to watch it as a fan.
I think a lot of. Are you excited for Usher?
Yeah, he's got bangers.
You see, he grew. He like went to college when Usher was
Like when
pop.
Confessions was
I'm
like in
not,
people's
gonna
AOL profiles.
I'm not going to shake
like,
my ass for Usher.
Bangers.
Yeah, I'm not twerking for Usher.
Yeah, he's got bangers. What's the final score?
27-21 Chiefs. Mahomes drive down the field when it's 21-20. And actually,
There's nothing.
24-21 final. 21-17, they need a touchdown. And the touchdown's to either MVS or Kadarius Toney. Just for the memes.
Yeah, I do think my favorite thing is betting on a random Chief to score a touchdown.
Yeah,
I also love Scantling. I'll give you this. Scantling over, I think, longest reception is like 16 and a half yards. That seems like a joke to me. When he gets that, he does really well.
I did
love
look.
that.
So yesterday, Chiefs to win and Travis to propose 22-1.
Oh my God.
What do we think in the big game?
I don't know. It seems a little too cliche. I don't know if
He
she will.
won't.
Bang.
Speaking of proposals after big games, the worst proposal ever
Boise State kid.
was not, and it wasn't his fault.
Chris Myers ruined
Chris
it.
Myers ruined
Do
it.
you remember this clip?
No.
This
He
is
didn't catch it
all
live
time.
because like no one was paying attention, but he goes, like years later it got picked up or like whatever. He's like, Ian, great game, like unbelievable. What's it like to beat Oklahoma? Ask this question. This, whatever. And he's like, all right, you're here with your girlfriend. I know you're going to propose. So and he just goes like this. It was the worst. It was like, dude, what are you doing?
And his girlfriend heard it too.
Yeah, of course. At that point, though, he didn't say it before the game. At that point, he ruined it for what? Like 2 seconds?
Yeah.
It's bad, but it's not that bad.
I would even say it's even more iconic.
Yeah. They're still together.
I would feel awful though if I ruined that.
Oh, yeah.
I think ruining a
should have paid for
proposal.
I would have held him over the coals. They
Yeah.
paid for the wedding. You like
That's
that?
hilarious.
All right, I think that wraps up the second edition of the lunch.
Thank you for having us.
Big
Thank you
game
for the
edition.
sandwich.
I
The
appreciate
tuna
it.
was phenomenal. It was great tuna.
Yeah, it seems like you didn't like
Why
the
didn't
bread.
you like the bread?
I'm trying to.
You
look
don't
good.
like Glenny's.
I think Glenny's been looking good.
I've been waking up doing my elliptical. I already did 50 minutes on my elliptical today.
all right.
I don't want to ruin it with the
No,
fucking
that's
bread.
good,
That's what we got to do. So.
But the tuna was, you know, actually a little fun fact. I think this may have been the first time I've ever had tuna outside of my own home, and it was good.
All right.
I enjoyed
You
it.
switched last second to tuna.
I did.
did.
I did tuna, then grilled chicken, now back to tuna.
did.
I liked it. It was
So-
good.
Don't forget to expense this.
No.
Yeah, it's a
No,
video.
it was
Come
for
on.
a video.
It's all good. All right, enjoy it. Thanks for coming in. Big game edition. Check out Healthy Debate. We'll see you soon.
I got 22-1. Travis to win and to propose.